have not always been the classy, put-together dame that you see in front of you. Now I make sure to have enough fiber, I eat salads and laugh to myself, and I fill out forms like a motherfucker. My father is very good at filling out forms. He and my mom have been married for a very long time. That's nice. That's sweet. They're sweet. They're still in love. Anyways, but I was what can be put as a bit of a slow burn as a kid. So for example, when we would be sent out to play at school, when they were like, oh yeah, it's the end of the year, you can go outside and play, I would just like resentfully take my like Rats of Nim and ghost books and sit under a tree and just like silently read while everyone played. Everyone's like, this is the best day! I'm like, I can't read well in the shade. I also was known for, in the 10th grade, I was going to go to the school dance, and I was all prepared. And then before the school dance on the Friday, everyone was like, we're going to drink and do drugs and have sex with each other. So what I did is I stayed home and watched the Elf TV movie. It was excellent. He never did eat that cat. So it was a little bit of a slow burn. So it was 22 before I moved out. But I was ready at 22 to move out. I was so excited. I got all my stuff from Etobicoke and I packed it all up, and I had been looking at all these different apartments, and I found the right one, and it was with two people I worked with at the student paper. And I moved in, and I got everything set up, and I was so excited. The first week, I would go up and say hello to all of my neighbors, because it was definitely gonna be different in Toronto than in Etobicoke. Everyone was gonna be best friends, and I would say, hello, and they would say, huh. But I kept at it. I was gonna break them down. It was gonna be my magical future that I'd been dreaming of for years. So after about a week of eating ice cream for dinner and having my dreams come true, and living with these roommates and stuff, and they would come and go, and they would have parties and whatever, and I would read the adult equivalent of the Rats of Nim in my room. It was a Friday, my first Friday with nobody. No parents, no roommates, just me and freedom. So I got everything ready. I chose my best music. I had my 90s tunes going. I put on my most comfortable sweatpants. I got all set up. I made myself dinner that was Easy Mac. Yeah, it was classy Easy Mac too. I really, really went out for it. I got everything ready. I got downstairs and I was just about to sit at the kitchen table when the lights all went out. It was completely dark. Yes, and I am used to living in Etobicoke where there was there was people that knew me, right? There was neighbors or whatever, so I could go and talk to someone, but I didn't know anyone. My roommates were gone, so I just sat there in the dark and ate my Easy Mac in silence, waiting for the lights to turn on. When I felt it, was the tiniest tinge right on my right baby toe. It was like a little wiggle, just a small feeling. And I was just it was like that, you know when you see a dinosaur and the message goes up, and about a minute into this, I was like, I guess this is just my life now. I just have this weird tingle, that's fine. I realized that tingle was the tiny claws of a mouse. And I realized that because the mouse, emboldened by the fact that I had not moved in a minute, started crawling up my leg in the absolute dark. And suddenly I could hear every sound. I heard a squeak, squeak, and I heard another squeak, squeak, squeak in the distance, and I could picture my house was just covered in mice and rats. It was the secret of Nim come to life, but it was not cute. I wanted every one of them to be tested right that moment. I wanted the scientists to come in and be like, no superpowers for you, rats. Ugh. And I could just picture their little glinting eyes staring at me, and just a fear, an ice cold hand started going up my spine. At least I hoped it was that and not another mouse. And I let out a sound. And the sound was answered. Okay, it's fine. So I just moved slowly to a corner and started like making some noise, being like, go away, mice, everything's gonna be okay. And I heard them scurry out, and so I was okay. Nobody had to know I had been scared. I was like an adult. It was great. It was fantastic. And then I heard it again. Ooh, ooh. Okay, this was a weird sound, but old houses have weird sounds. And then I heard a creak and an and suddenly every horror movie that I had ever seen was just flipping through my head like a Rolodex. Because I was a kid who spent a lot of time at home, so I'd seen them all. And the sound was louder and more insistent. And you know when you watch old movies where they go into a haunted house, and you're like, why don't they just leave? I always thought that before I started renting in Toronto. And I realized if you find an apartment that is like a nice price and pretty okay, like you stay there, I don't care what's there. And the sound kept getting more insistent. Ooh, ooh. And I had looked at a lot of apartments. One of them, I walked in, and part of the ceiling came down, and the landlord turned to me and just went, don't worry, we'll fix that. We took a step on a tile, it went in, and he's like, I mean, we could fix two things. So there was no way anything was getting me out of this house. And I went back to all of those scary movies that I had seen, and I realized this creature, it was certainly a ghost, was reaching out to me. It's probably lonely. You know, it just wanted to communicate. So I realized, if I could get the message across, it'd be fine. I could stay in my beautiful apartment. I would not have to move back in with my parents, which is the real nightmare. I could make a reach. So I said, in my loudest voice, which was basically like, oh, I was like, I think you're beautiful and special. Go into the lights. To which I heard hysterical laughter. And I was like, I did it. I got to they were having sex next door. I heard one very hesitant smack, and then it was over. So I called my boyfriend, and in my best scary voice was like, oh God, there was a mouse, and I have to leave right now. I have to go away from this apartment, because there was no way I was going to face the fact that my neighbors thought that their sex was ghosts, or that I thought their sex was ghosts. Like I was very innocent, but even I knew where there's no getting around that. I called my boyfriend. I went to his house. I will say, I didn't make connections with the other side that day. But people stopped stealing my newspaper. So it was pretty okay. Thanks so much.